Universal Basic, guys, might be one of the most empty-headed attempts at entertainment I've seen since cavemen started throwing rocks into lakes. I have been bombarded by marketing for this show wherever I turn, whether it's on YouTube or while watching sports or while just scrolling on my phone. I cannot escape this show if I wanted to, and I think I know why. It's because I am in the target demographic for this show, which is to say, I am man. And because I am man, I am watch TV show about man, right? So okay, Fox, if you want to market this pile of crap to me every day for the last 2 weeks, then guess what? I'm actually gonna try it and talk about it. Bet you didn't think anyone would actually call your bluff, did you, Fox? I watched the first 3 episodes of Universal Basic, guys, and Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Hey, Jesus Christ? What the fuck, dude? How could you let something like this happen? Universal Basic, guys, is a show about guys just hanging out and being dudes. Am I right, guys? Let's eat hot dogs and drink beer and fish and buy a monkey because we're guys and this is what guys do. The premise is our main characters, whose names I can't remember, so I'm gonna call them Big Ed and Big Head, they get fired from their jobs at the hot dog factory after AI takes over, and they get put on Universal Basic income and just get to fuck around, hence the name Universal Basic Guys. Premise-wise, not the worst idea in the world. Make it like Phineas and Ferb for adults, except they didn't do that because it would have been too hard. Instead of anything funny or interesting or entertaining happening, the show is just your usual wacky adult animated show about a couple of crazy guys. Cause hey, we're guys that do guys stuff, right guys? Hey, hand me a beer, brother, and don't tell my wife cause we're guys doing guys stuff. No girls allowed unless their tits work for milk or whatever for me to put in my beer milkshake. All right, I'm getting a little bit carried away, but this is genuinely the pitch for this show. The ads all play into the fact that these are, get this, just guys being dudes. Isn't that relatable, guys?
For decades, Fox Sunday has been home to TV's most iconic animated dudes. This fall, a new legend is born.
And sure, I can relate to being a human man, but how is that entertainment? Seriously, how is that enough to build a 2-season order off of? Oh yeah, you heard me right. A 2-season order was made back a few months ago before the first season even came out. Fox has a lot of faith in this show, which is a real shame because the first 3 episodes are boring, derivative, kind of gross, and most importantly, boring. This is a boring, generic show that has nothing to set itself apart from the crowd. This isn't an inside job situation where they're trying to do something with the premise, but they can't get their footing quite right. This is a show that is built off of the most surface level, brain dead premise of wouldn't it be crazy if 2 guys did some crazy stuff like buy a monkey? Wouldn't it be cool if a couple of wacky dudes go on a cruise and try to fish and have dinner with a mermaid?
Wouldn't it be epic if just a pair of fellas released a demon and threw a boomerang?
Those are the 3 episodes I watched, and they were all as terrible and generic as they sound. The conflict is all super predictable and centered around, oh, my wife doesn't get the guy stuff I'm trying to do. My wife's such a simple-headed bitch. She doesn't get that sometimes I just want to eat a hot dog and watch football. No one can possibly understand that, and that is the premise for the TV show. Universal Basic, guys, is about as deep in the writing department as the new ultra-thin crust pizza from Teeny Tony's Pizza Place and also hot dogs, which is to say, not very deep at all, and none of these characters seem to go anywhere. None of them have anything interesting going on with their motivations. It's just a bunch of empty-headed morons so that they can get to these empty-headed ideas of what they think guys think is funny. And the really confusing part is this show, and I checked on this, is actually made by 2 guys. So if anyone's gonna know what guys think is funny, it's gotta be guys, because it's a show about guys being guys, which is funny. But the show's just not funny, but it's made by 2 guys. So the 2 guys must not be funny, but the 2 guys being funny is funny. So I don't know what's going on here. Okay, that was a little bit mean, but the premise for this show is incredibly simple. The characters are incredibly simple. The storylines are incredibly simple. Everything about it is simple and brain dead, and it's also not funny, but it's made by 2 guys and it's about guys just hanging out. I think the common denominator here might be the 2 guys that created the show. They might just not be funny. And this is their first like full show that they're working on, so they might not even know how to make a TV show. Like that's the stuff we're dealing with here. I don't think they're funny enough to make a TV show, and they got a 2-season order. What the fuck, man?
Yeah, so the first episode we wrote was literally the first 22-minute script we'd ever written.
There's just a general feeling of inexperience and sloppiness with the writing that leads to certain plot points getting lost for 15 minutes, only to come up at the end of the episode and make you go, oh yeah, that's what started all this boring nonsense. And keep in mind, I am literally the target demographic for this show. I like beer, I like football, and hot dogs, and the goddamn Philadelphia Eagles that they made a reference to in their theme song, just like the characters in this show, and probably just like the creators of this show. But you know what I would never make a show about? Guys that just like hot dogs, beer, and football with nothing else entertaining happening. Universal Basic Guys is like if you took King of the Hill and stripped out all of the humanity, humor, and groundedness that comes with it, leaving just a show about some guys that drink beer together. It's an insultingly bad attempt at pandering to male audiences that feels just as dated as it is stupid. The animation is stilted and cheap, the character designs are ugly and unappealing to look at, and the voice acting is generally kind of okay, I guess, but it's that usual thing of like, well, we have people here, let's have them use their voices. It's not like voice acting, it's just voicing is what I would call it, and it's a thing that can happen a lot if you don't hire real actual voice actors, which is a problem we run into a lot here in the realm of animation. And the show's sense of humor is dumb and generic. I would liken it to an uncle that really likes Shane Gillis jokes and tries to retell them, but can't remember the setup or punchlines to any of the jokes, so he kind of just drunkenly stumbles through a story about his bitch wife, Deborah. It really feels like you fed an AI like, make a show just for the guys, just for the boys, make us a show just like that. And this is what it would spit out. I know that's like a common thing nowadays. People are like, it feels like it was made by AI, but this is so generic, so stupid, so derivative that that's what it feels like. I'm sorry, that's what I'm gonna liken it to. And I feel like the only reason a show like this was greenlit was because the executive saw it and was like, this is how we get that 18 to 60-year-old male demographic to watch the show. We make it all about guys, we pander it to the guys, we play it after football games, like that's how this show's gonna work. But they didn't think of making something actually entertaining or with a point or with a vision. It's just broadly for guys. And as someone that falls into this demographic, as I've already stated multiple times, I found nothing enjoyable about Universal Basic Guys. So there you go, Fox. You couldn't stop showing me ads for this show, so I tried it and shared my thoughts. Are you happy now? Now, whenever these ads come on when I'm watching football with my friends, I can say, oh, I tried that show. It's worse than dropping a kettlebell on your balls. Don't watch it. Maybe next time, try making a show that's actually for your target demographic instead of one about your target demographic, because there is an actual difference and there is an actual artistry to making entertainment that the people behind this show seem to not understand. But hey, they sold it and they made some money off of it, and I gotta applaud that. But if you're thinking of watching this show for any reason other than to punish yourself, I would say to steer clear of it.